Welcome, everyone. Today, we want to talk about how to turn your website into a lead generating machine. Now, whether you're a garage door pro, a landscaper, a pool builder, or any home service provider, this is for you. And so, this is titled Website Traffic That Converts: How to Get More Leads from Your Website Without Wasting Money, helping home service companies turn clicks into customers. So let's get started. You spent money on a site, but is it actually working for you? Most home service businesses have a website that looks fine, but does it convert or bring in qualified traffic? So this is why you're probably here. Your website is your number one growth tool. It's your digital storefront, and it's what matters most. But most home service companies are using it wrong. They often look nice, but they don't actually convert visitors into leads or eventually customers, which is missed leads equals missed revenue. So our big promise is we help home service pros become the number one most trusted, most visible company in their town. And they never have to worry about leads again. They become number one. They're the top position in their market. They're most visible so that customers can find them, and most trusted, building long lasting reputation. And then, of course, consistent leads. They never have to worry about new business. That's our mission here at Lead Nurture Close, and we're going to show you how to make it happen. So a website isn't just a brochure, it's your best salesperson, but it only works if the right people are finding it and taking action. Think of your website as the engine, but it only runs if you put the right fuel in. And the right fuel in this case is traffic, content, SEO, and paid ads. Everything should be flowing into your website to drive the results out. So you have content, which is valuable information, SEO, which is your search visibility, social will do audience engagement, and of course, email, lead nurturing, and your website, we call it your digital hub. So that's the growth engine for your website in a nutshell. The formula is very simple. You have more targeted traffic and helpful content is going to mean more conversions, but it has to be intentional. You got to have an intentional input to get the outcome that you want. That old field of dreams lie. If you build it, they will come. Well, that doesn't happen online. You need a system for visibility. If you're not actively promoting your site, your audience will never see it. So then again, no traffic, no leads. That's the number one mistake that most home service companies are making. They build it and they wait and they expect visitors just to show up without ever having to promote it. And that's just not the case. It ends up being a wasted effort. I like to say if a tree falls in the forest and no one is around to hear it, does it make a sound? It's the same thing with your website. So these 5 strategies are working right now today. Most companies dabble in 1 or 2 of these, but the power comes when you layer and systemize them all together, and it makes a very major impact for your overall business. So what are these 5 strategies? Creating valuable content, as I mentioned before, and you want this content that's going to solve your customers' problems. And then search engine optimization so that you rank for relevant terms when your prospects are going to look for their problems and you have the solutions. So you want to be able to show up for that. And then content distribution, sharing across multiple channels. And of course, paid ads, targeting your ideal customers. And then having some kind of lead magnet where you're offering value for their contact information. Those 5 things are working right now. Right content is key. You want to know what they're Googling, what problems do they want to have solved, and then you're going to solve those problems with your content. And that should be your content plan. So you need to know your customer, understand their needs, solve their pain points. And then another important factor is you got to use local geographical keywords so that it helps with the SEO so that you rank for those terms. And the example here on the screen is pool builder in Frisco, Texas. And then of course you want to make sure your content is helpful and you're providing value, not some kind of hype. So here's an example. This is a real SEO example. And this particular keyword, pool builders Frisco, Texas, it has keyword intent. Someone searching this keyword is ready to buy. Imagine ranking number 1 for this in your city. How many jobs would that bring to you? In this example, it's 1,200 monthly searches. If you were to pay for it, it's $12 cost per click if you were to do a Google pay-per-click ad. So it's very competitive because that's all based off of people willing to spend that, other companies or competitors. And it has a 42% conversion rate for optimized pages. The second half of creating great content is distribution. That's half the game. If you don't distribute, you die. So you take a blog, which is your home base for your content, and you then go out to social media with it, expanding your reach. If you create visual engagement with a video on YouTube, people consume videos. YouTube is the second most search engine. So you want to make sure you're creating that as well and putting that onto your website as well. And then email, that's a direct connection. If you've got an email list, you should be sending that out to them as well. And then guest posts, those are borrowed audiences. By putting this content out to guest posts, you're now reaching a bigger audience. So content without distribution is a wasted effort. So you want to post it, share it, send it, repurpose it, saturate your market. And as I mentioned, email and social, they're often underutilized. And these are free ways to educate, remind, nudge your audience to visit your site. Email marketing can nurture and warm the leads. It's a direct communication, and it's a very high ROI, which is return on investment channel. So you definitely want to be taking advantage of email. And then of course, social media. It builds cold awareness, it increases visibility, and it drives website traffic, which is also another SEO or Google signal. So you want to make sure that you're reaching out on all of your social media platforms as well. So share value, not just any kind of promotions. You can do promotions once in a while, but the key is value. And then always include links and call to actions to make sure that you're driving that traffic to what you want. Phone calls back to your website. So call to actions is very key in anything that you do content-wise. Good ads will bring in leads and bad ads will burn cash. So you just don't want to boost post randomly. You want to build a funnel and be very intentional. Paid ads should go to pages that actually are built to convert, not just like to the homepage of your website. You want to have specific landing pages for your paid ads. It's a very specific funnel. So paid ads done right, if you have Google PPC going, that's going to be able to target ready to buy searchers. So they're lower down the sales funnel because they're very intent on searching out a solution for their problem. Meta ads, Facebook, Instagram are great for demographic targeting and brand recognition. You're pushing out to that demographic and pushing your brand out there, much like a billboard, and you get to target for that demographic. And then there's geo-targeting, and that's focusing on a specific service area. So you want to layer in geo-targeting, and then as I mentioned before, landing pages. Having dedicated conversion optimized landing pages for your paid ads. Those are all key to making sure your ads are done right to get your most ROI. Writing is very, very important. Writing that converts for your content. Clarity beats cleverness. You want to speak like a human. You want to write just like you talk. And you want to guide your customer to one clear action because a confused mind never buys. So you want to be very clear and guide them to the action you want them to take. So it needs to be easy to read, simple language, short paragraphs. It needs to answer questions, address their concerns up front. If you can answer what their concern already they're thinking about, you're halfway there to get them to convert because you've already answered any of the questions they're thinking about. And then having a strong call to action, like I mentioned before, very clear next step. And then this is a key one is consistent voice. You want to have a recognized brand tone. You want to make sure that you're speaking in a way that you would normally speak, and then it becomes a recognizable brand tone for your company. SEO 101 for home service companies. You don't need to be an SEO expert, but you do need a strategy. It needs to have local intent plus relevance. That will give you visibility. And so using, again, local keywords, an example shown here is garage door repair in Omaha, Nebraska. That's very local intent, and Google will see that, and so will the consumers in your area that are looking for that. Technical elements such as your headings or H1 tags and H2 tags and your titles and your metadata and your what we call on-page content. So if you can get these technical elements down, you're 10 steps ahead of the game and making sure those are in place for any content that you're doing on your website. And then making sure your website's mobile friendly and fast loading and responsive. So no matter what screen you're looking at the site from, that it's responding and giving a good user experience to the visitor that's on your website. And then, of course, making sure that you can track the progress. You want to make sure that you're having Google Analytics and Google Tag, everything that needs to be built in order to track everything properly, rankings, etc., so that you can monitor not only your rankings but your traffic every month, and that helps guide what content to do, just your whole strategy. Because if you can't track and monitor, then you can't adjust, and so you're just throwing spaghetti at the wall to see what's going to stick, but you're not even knowing what's sticking because you're not tracking. So it's very important to track everything. You want to repurpose like a pro. You work once, you win 5 or more times. You repurpose that content across all the formats and platforms. It's a huge time saver, and it's a reach multiplier. Again, you start with your blog post as your original content because that's going to be on your website, which again is your hub. But then you push that out to your social posts. You can share like key points from that, even sometimes create multiple posts from that one blog article, depending upon how much value is in that article. There could be several different things that you could share out to your social media at different times based off of that article. Then if you create a video clip, giving a visual explanation of that article, sometimes you could just be summarizing that article in a video, and that can be also distributed. As I mentioned before, email. If you've got a list, you need to be touching that list consistently. Why not touch them by giving them value and sending out this blog post or video that you've created that's of value to your subscriber list? And then you can even use this onto your website landing pages, your service pages, because a lot of times you're going to be answering frequently asked questions or should have asked questions. And so those can be snippets that you can put onto those pages. So one idea can turn into 5+ content pieces, which is going to maximize your time and maximize your reach. So just repurpose anything that you're doing and just be intentful about it. Give your best stuff away. This builds trust and gets you leads without having to really sell. If you use lead magnets like, ebooks or guides or checklists and doing live webinars, that's all value to your particular prospects and your audience. So you just want to give and give before you ask. And so when you give value, you can capture their email in exchange for the value. So using lead magnets is a very important piece in the strategy. Podcast is another one that is starting to catch up more and more in the home service industry. But I think a lot of smaller home service companies don't think that there's value in the podcasts, and so they don't do it. But there's actually a ton of value. Podcasts help build relationships. We all know people buy from people. It'll help build authority. You're showing your expertise. And of course, it's content. Even very short episodes go a long way when they're repurposed. So, again, it's an authority builder. It positions you as the expert, and this will help boost your SEO. You can take those transcripts and then use that as content. So again, there's a lot of ways to repurpose this. And as I mentioned, it's going to help build relationships. You want to expand your network. You can interview clients, you can interview partners, you can interview vendors that you buy stuff from. So there's a lot of utility using podcasts. It's very powerful. And because it's underutilized, you could be way ahead of the game if you start doing this now. And again, this can get pushed out to your social media as well as using it on your website and on the podcast in and of itself. Your content should flow like a system. You want to start with one asset and then spread it everywhere. Then review what worked. So here's a blueprint that you can use. You want to create and develop valuable content and then repurpose that, transform it into multiple formats. And then you want to distribute this across multiple channels. And again, track and measure the performance so you can see what's working, your audience is relating to, and so that you can do more of that content that is getting the engagement and getting the audience reactions that you're wanting, and of course getting the traffic, and you can see what Google's liking about it as well. And so all of those factors will help you to adjust and improve every time you do new content. So here's a checklist that you can use to audit your current marketing. If you're missing any piece, that's where you want to focus first. So this first thing is, again, your website. That's your hub. So you want to have a conversion ready website, clear call to actions, fast loading, mobile friendly, so it's a great user experience. You don't want visitors coming to your website and bouncing. And then having a chat widget on there too, because not everybody wants to call right away or, fill out a form. Some people want to chat and engage. And so you want to be able to capture the leads from many different channels from within your website. And again, having a lead magnet on there is another way, because they may not be ready to take a step right now, but they're willing to grab that guide or that checklist. And now you captured their name, phone number, email, so they can future communicate with them. And then provide weekly content. Consistent publishing is key. You want to have a scheduled time that you're pushing out this content, because not only is it great for the consumers, but Google likes to see that as well. They actually have that in their patent as frequency for publishing. So you want to make sure you're consistent and frequent and doing it weekly. SEO paid strategy, combining those is huge. Having organic and paid traffic sources together going to exponentially boost your SEO as well as your leads coming in. And then when there's a little dip in one of the channels, you have the other channel that's offsetting that, and vice versa. Lead nurturing. This is probably one of the things that is missed by most home service companies, is having a follow-up system for any prospect that's coming into their website and filling out their forms, or calling, chat widget, anything, any way that you're getting, even referrals, that you're getting leads coming in. You're not nurturing these leads, and having a CRM has a follow-up system for your prospects is key, because that will massively increase your ROI from any of the marketing that you're doing. Referral, word of mouth, door hangers, anything out there. They come in and they may not convert right away. It takes 10, 12, 16 touches. And so staying consistently in touch with them and nurturing those prospects will greatly increase your ROI. Now, you want to avoid these traps, because they will kill the trust, kill the visibility, and ultimately kill your results. Copy and pasting your content going to get you a duplicate content SEO issue, which means that if you're taking content from one page and creating another page and just kind of slightly changing it, that's actually going to really hurt your SEO. And then the SEO 101 that I talked about, ignoring those SEO basics is going to make you invisible to search engines. That's required to do those basics for you to get picked up in the search engines and be shown in the search engine result pages, whether it's Google, Bing, Yahoo, and what we call AEO, answer engine optimization as well. Spamming your email list. This is a killer too. Not only does it damage your reputation of your email that's sending out these emails, but it actually will damage your brand. And so again, you don't want to spam these promotional messages all the time. You can drip in promotional items here and there, but you want to again send them value. And that's really key, because they're people. And so you want to be engaging with the people and giving them value. And then every now and again, having some kind of promotional push to it, but you don't want to be labeled as a spammer. And then, as I mentioned earlier, missing call to actions, the CTAs. If you don't have a clear next step for them in any of your content, even if it's in emails, if it's in your blog posts or social media, then you're going to have frustrated visitors at the end of the day. And that's going to be, again, a leaky bucket. You're paying money and time and effort for marketing, whatever that marketing is, to bring this traffic to your website or to your social, and then you're not actually capturing them. They're leaking through your bucket because you don't have the right clear call to actions directing them to take action. And so then they disappear and go away. And that's, again, missed opportunity. So you want to make sure you have clear call to actions. Now, what do we do here at Lead Nurture Close is we don't just build websites. We build systems that get leads, nurture those leads, and help you close more jobs. As we kind of gone over in this strategy, the website design is key. You want it to be professional, but you want it to be optimized and built to convert visitors. That's the key. And then having it backed with our AI-powered SEO and local visibility so that you can dominate the local searches. And then our paid ads, those are ROI driven. We're very, very intentional on return on investment, and are AI-powered with measurable campaign results behind our paid ads system. And then, of course, lead nurturing, using our automated follow-up systems so that we can nurture any of the leads that are coming in, including customers, getting you reviews. We want to be able to automate all of this so that you're always increasing your ROI and getting the best out of your leads and clients in your database. Here are some success stories. These are real results from 3 of our clients across different niches. We got garage doors, pools, and landscaping. And you'll see what happened after we implemented our full website traffic and lead generation strategy. More traffic, more trust, and a lot more leads. And this just isn't theory, it's proven. When you implement content, SEO, and lead nurturing in the right way, these are the kind of results that you can expect. And you can see the darker color is the before and the brighter color is the after, and it's exponential results. Do you want more leads? Do you want to turn your website into a lead generation machine? Are you ready to fix the leaks in your marketing and get more leads? Then let's have a conversation. Go ahead and schedule a strategy session today, and we would love to chat with you. As you can see on the screen, there's some easy ways to contact us. Send us an email, give us a call, go to our website. You can also schedule a strategy session at leadnurtureclose.com/strategy. If you're seeing this replay on social media and you have any questions, go ahead and drop the comment in the social media post with your questions, and we'll be sure to answer them. Or feel free to reach out, and we'll be glad to answer any questions that you might have in person, whether it's email, text, phone call, whatever channel works best for you. We'd be glad to help answer any questions that you might have. All right. Thank you very much for being here. Go ahead and turn your website into your #1 salesperson. Have a great day.